So hello, Linda G. Great to see you once again, visiting Astrology Alert. And I wanted to ask you first thing, because I heard you say that, there might be some earthquake activity in the California area. You don't see it in my area, right?
No.
Okay. Because, we know we're on this.
Well, there was a 4 point something last night in El Cerrito. There's a lot of little ones. There was a good sized earthquake in Texas, 5 point something. But I feel a good shaker happening down by Riverside and stuff. I'm not seeing Armageddon into the world type stuff. I'm just seeing shakers. I see a good shaker that interrupts communications and stuff.
Well, if you ever see it for this area, do please let us know. Let me know.
Based on where you live right now, what I'm seeing, it's beautiful there.
Yeah, it is nice. It rains a lot though, but
okay.
I mean that's the price of, if you want green, you need a lot of water.
Yeah. Well, I used to have a fiance in Edinburgh, Scotland, and the suicide rate, because of how much it rains, was very high.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, this is where it's sunlight. So sunlight, it almost reflects the fact that it's like our source. So as soon as people see the sun, although here more than in other places because they don't see it that often. So then when the sun comes out, everybody goes out on the street and celebrates in a certain way. But yeah.
Wow.
Not 100%, but there's that sense that people go for walks, because they're wondering if they'll ever see it again.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what's your sense of, I know you talked about Trump and in your predictions, and we're pretty much on the same page where this guy is headed. As
He's
in
going straight downhill.
2023 is really bad. But then the kind of expected replacement, which I'm getting more and more skeptical about, is Desantis. What's your sense of this guy? What he's doing, where he might go toward 2024.
He's not going to win. He's not going to win as president.
He's not going to win, but could he run though? Could he be the?
Yeah, he could run, but the thing is that right now he's taking the CDC or the Florida Department of Health to the grand jury because of I don't know what all, but they have videos of him telling everybody to get inoculated. So I don't know what he's doing. He's talking in circles.
Yeah, that's the thing that what hit me is that because he's your sign, he's Virgo. And the thing is, Virgo is the health sign.
Yeah.
So, but Saturn is going into the other side, into the opposite sign, Pisces. So the problem for that is that if you're a politician, you can easily get on the wrong side of an issue. And the last thing you want to do is get into the health arena and talk about vaccines, because that's a health concern. So that's one problem that he has, which he's creating himself. But the other problem is the abortion issue, because he can't run away from it, and he can't, for his base, he has to say, oh yeah, we're going to just, take away all rights. But then for the national scene, that's a disaster. So it's two things that I actually hope that he's the Trump replacement, because it would make it a lot easier for Biden, to be real.
I also see Trump really throwing it down. I saw like a bow and arrow, boom. So I don't know what he's going to do to Satan, but he's going to do something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on his way out the door, he may, even if it's false information, it feels like he may do something to really hurt him.
To take Desantis down. Yeah, the interesting thing is that in the two charts, and I don't have a time for DeSantis, but he's got his sun directly at odds with Trump's sun moon. I mean, it's a clear enemy, even though he initially got support from Trump and he's trying to copy Trump. They're not, it's not a good match at all. It's right. Confrontational, which is interesting because this guy, the theory of this Jack Smith, which we don't know, of course, but if Jack Smith is March 11th, he's like the exact opposite of DeSantis in the zodiac. So that's another problem person for Trump as well. But anyway,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, well, so that's good that Desantis you see as he would probably be a good candidate for Democrats, right? Because he would likely destroy himself in the
Oh,
process.
yeah. I don't even know if he'll make it that far.
Yeah, that's a possibility too, because when you run on a Saturn opposition, it's pretty hard. That's what happened to John McCain. You know, he ran when Saturn was opposite, and it didn't work out at all. Of
Yeah.
course, it was against Obama, who was really talented, but
Really popular. Yeah.
yeah. And I heard you say about Carrie Lake. I mean, can you believe this woman?
Oh my God.
Can you believe what she just
Somebody
said?
put she was at Mar-a-Lago and said these people have messed with the wrong BITCH.
It's so crazy. I mean, you kind of wonder about people who they go into politics. Like, she's actually a fairly talented speaker, has experience in media. Why would you get next to this guy? Why
And
would
she
you
was
do
an
this?
Obama fan. She loved Obama.
Right, but there might be a future for you in real politics. Why? By the way, she's another Virgo.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and with not just one planet, too, multiple planets in there. That would suggest to me that yeah, it's a downward trend, because when you play this way with Saturn opposite, not a good
Doesn't work.
idea.
How long is Saturn going to be opposite, by the way?
For quite a while. It's going to be opposite until 2026. Not all of 2025, but parts of 25. So you got to count on spring of 23, all of 24, most of 25. So it's
Wow.
quite a while. Yeah, definitely. So you don't want to get on the wrong side of that planet. That's not a good idea.
So just keep your ducks in a row and
keep your ducks in a row. And if anything,
be honest.
be honest, right? And if when you know it's a health sign, that's why Desantis getting on the wrong side of health issues isn't smart. But if you're a Virgo, pay attention to your health, work on your health, be more mindful of health, because that's the sign that you're under. And Saturn is the one that says, the planet that says, work on it, be deliberate, pay attention, right? That's the
My rising is Leo, though, right?
No, Libra.
Libra,
yeah, which is Libra. Yeah, no, Libra's a nice rising sign. It helps you to be nice.
Or at least fake it like you're nice.
Yeah. No, okay. Don't give that away. You just said a classic interpretation of Libra rising, that they're nice and sometimes they just pretend to be nice, but either way, it works.
Yeah, they can schmooze.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very, I mean, Libra, if you think about it, it's a sign of relationship. It's very adept at politics, at just, like a hostess or someone who is being nice, but it doesn't mean that they're faking it. I mean, it just means they're particularly good at it.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Exactly.
So what do you think about Trump with those cards that they're now saying those? And also I heard that Bannon is done with Trump. He says, I just can't get over this. Roger, what's his name? Roger Stone.
Roger Stone? Really?
He's upset with Trump about this stupid. They were thinking an important announcement. He was going to announce his VP or announce this or that. No, he's announcing about stupid cards that you can't even own.
Yeah, no, it's just, I did a video on it yesterday, and I was pretty, pretty insulting. I mean, basically saying, I mean, can you believe this? Because but I'm not sure what's worse, Trump doing it or people buying the cards. I mean, why would you pay $100?
Well, they're saying now that apparently people didn't really buy the cards. It was foreign. It's a way of laundering money, I guess.
Very possible. Because when it comes to this guy, if you can think of a crime, he's committing it somewhere. There you go. So it doesn't surprise. And the other thing too is that he's never going to admit that it was a crash and burn. So then he says they're sold out. Like, how do you sell out images? How does that happen? Unless he's saying that they're going to be valuable in the future. But anyway, the whole thing is made up. This guy is he's like the most extreme example of gaslighting I've ever seen in my life. He lives in this created, bubble that he makes up. The amazing thing is that a lot of people follow him. You gotta give him credit for that. He can get followers, because it's remarkable how he's able to separate people from their wallet. It's incredible,
Yeah. Now, so what are you picking up on Monday for the big hearing?
A continuation. Like the thing is, if you read it through, he's always the main thing they're after. I mean, everything else is like condiment. You add on Eastman and Clark, and they'll probably have more than one referral. It won't just be him. They'll be saying criminally follow these other people. But
Right.
he's the key player, and he's really, really on the edge of the precipice. So there's no way that the news can be good. And yeah, it'll just add more fuel to what is already going on. And,
But I don't see the DOJ. Aha. I don't see that. I think they already have everything they need.
pretty much.
They
Yeah.
don't take the stuff they get from Congress that seriously, obviously.
Right.
Otherwise, the people who refuse to show up would be in jail right now.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, and the thing is, all of this, you can read it right through Trump, because Trump's next couple of months are brutal. So, I mean, that's it. That's all you need to know. They're really brutal.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be one bit surprised if he was hit before spring, with something tangible like charges. I was hearing yesterday that this surprised me. Did you hear the guy say, this Renato character, who's an ex-prosecutor, say that the insurrection charge is actually the easiest to prove, because they have Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony that he said, well, they're armed, but they're not here to hurt me. So, well, that's inciting people to commit violence.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
which would mean that if he were convicted on that or had to plead guilty on that, he's automatically disqualified from running.
Right. And that Marjorie Taylor Greene saying her and Bannon, if they ran it, they would have been armed. And then she acts like it's a joke, but she meant it.
I mean, the thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene is that, by the way, this is no insult to Gemini, but the Geminis, like, she's a Gemini, and Trump is a Gemini, and Xi Jinping is a Gemini. Elon Musk isn't a Gemini, but he has planets in Gemini. Gemini has, been taken over by the Satanists. And the thing is, Jupiter is in Gemini in 2024. So that has me a little worried that she may have a longer runway than I would like, before she crashes and burns. But eventually she'll crash and burn, like a lot of these MAGA people, because, they're constantly on the wrong side of issues. And, I was curious, though. I heard you say you picked up that the House dynamics are such that the MAGA people are going to have a hard time controlling it because of those people in Congress that are up in 2024. So they're not going to cooperate with them.
No, they're not going to jump on that bandwagon. And also, Trump is losing his popularity. Being on the Trump train doesn't mean guarantee anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's totally true. I mean, the polls that are coming out recently are because one thing when people say, oh, don't trust the polls. Yeah, I don't trust the polls. But when there's a 25-point difference, you start to wonder, okay, like, how is it that they're picking DeSantis like 60-30 and crazy things like that? It's too much, So
DeSantis would not win. I don't care what you say. So DeSantis would not win.
No, right.
Neither would Trump, but
yeah,
I don't even know Trump can make it that long.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And by the way, he's another one that, because I heard you say about Putin, and which I agree, from the chart and his health, no question, Putin's chart is definitely very vulnerable, but so is Trump's. I'm kind of wondering how this guy has gotten away this far, because he's going from one health hit to another, and they continue in 23. It's not just political danger, it's and criminal and and all that, and legal danger, but there's health danger there as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are you feeling about, they're saying we're still not quite done with this pandemic?
The pandemic, the thing is that what is most it's almost too obvious now. I couldn't see this at the beginning, but the pandemic began exactly when Saturn, this isn't true. The pandemic in the US and in a way worldwide, because remember that it kind of started in late 2020, late 2019. But it wasn't until March when, everybody became, totally aware, and overnight we were sequestered. That was Saturn entering Aquarius, which actually makes a lot of sense, in that Aquarius is the sign of the people circulating, the people being out there, and the Saturn comes in and says, nope, I'm gonna lock you down. And Saturn exits Aquarius in the spring. and never returns. So it's starting to feel like the whole Aquarius period, right? It's been COVID. And my feeling is this is the last swath this winter,
Okay,
yeah, that's how I would call it. Because also the other two that were there together when they, joined in 2020, Jupiter and Pluto, they're long separated. So that's no longer an issue. So it's probably this last bit of Saturn.
right.
Is that how you kind of?
I've always felt like it was about ready to exit stage left. And I think a lot of people, because they've been vaccinated and stuff, and a lot of people have caught it, that energetically it's not a death sentence anymore.
No, and I'll tell you, my experience of COVID is that I caught it in Europe and I linked it to I had done this has happened to me multiple times in my life. I'll exercise a little too hard, and then my immune system is a little low for a few hours. And that's when I caught it, because my wife was around me and she was completely asymptomatic because she didn't have any energy issues. So this is just to say to people, not that you can bank on this 100%, but keeping the stress low and keeping your body strong is really helpful, toward avoiding it.
If I'm eating a nice fat piece of chocolate cake, I won't catch nothing.
If
I'm eating a nice fat piece of chocolate cake, I won't catch nothing.
That's the other one.
Because I'm in total bliss.
That's the other solution. Never thought of that one.
Yeah, you're totally happy. Chocolate makes me happy, and I just don't catch nothing.
Yeah, that's true. That's another one. Another way to play it. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you're getting Putin's going down. He just did a bunch of bombs, but Ukraine was able to stop at least 35 of them or something.
Well, the thing with Putin is that it's another astrology routine where, because he's a Libra and Jupiter is on the other side, so it's opposite, and Jupiter is the expanding planet. People on Jupiter oppositions and squares, they'll expand into areas that they later regret. And I mean, this thing of just bombing indiscriminately, and especially given the number of countries that are against them, right? So the Jupiter will get out of Aries in May. So I know I heard you say he's going down. Probably post that, if I had to guess. I think somewhere in the summer, maybe.
Always horrible. Horrible.
Oh, I know. Completely
Him
horrible.
and Trump. And you know who else was always bad was our Attorney General, Barr. He looked terrible.
Terrible.
And Elon Musk. Every time I throw on him, he's crashing and burning.
Yeah, well, with Elon Musk, and even just using Earth common sense without any any celestial attunement. I mean, the man is kind of incredible. He's talking about free speech, and he's trying to turn Twitter into into Parler, like into a right wing, borderline Nazi hangout.
What sign is he?
Yeah, no. So no, and I mean I don't know a birth time, but he's got all these planets that face Saturn pressure for the next 5 years. That's never a good sign, especially when you're behaving.
When I read on him, I was like, whoa.
That it's not going to work out.
I would read everybody saying the rumor is he wants to buy Twitter, and I'm like, if he does, he's not successful.
No, and I think it hasn't been. It hasn't been because in the end, success is selling advertising, and the platform is going down. He keeps getting into controversies. I thought it was funny that he threw out those reporters, and then he conducted a poll, and the people that said that you should bring them back won out. So then he had to relent.
But he was really hoping that they were going to say no.
I know, but they didn't, right? So
and he could say the people have spoken.
Exactly. Well, he did say that, except that he had to, let them back in. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, and so I noticed you mentioned McCarthy. That's the feeling I'm getting too. You saw McCarthy kind of isolated or caught between a rock and a hard place. His 23 is not good at all. It's a really complicated year.
Because he wasn't in on this thing that just happened with January 6th. he was calling Trump saying, do something. But
Yeah.
people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and all of them, they're not getting away with this.
They're not getting away
People
with.
who gave the tours and all that for January 6th, the Congress people will be hit for sedition.
Wow. So you
I
actually,
saw it. I saw it. And I saw years ago when I read, I said there'll be Republicans jumping the ship.
huh.
And I felt people were like, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because they were all up in Trump's rear, and all of a sudden that we're being there isn't safe anymore. Now they have to run away.
Yeah, no, and that makes a lot of sense too, because I know from Biden and chart, Carlin's chart, it should get easier, not harder, and so it doesn't make sense unless these guys switch gears or maybe something happens that causes them to realign. But this plan that they have, I mean, the Hunter Biden thing, I mean, that's a joke. I've said to people a number of times, Hunter Biden's laptop came up when Bill Barr was the attorney general. Why didn't he investigate it? Probably because there was not enough there.
Yeah. And also it's been passed. There's no continuity of care. There's no, when you have an object that's supposed to be something that would prove someone of guilt, you're supposed to keep it under lock and key. They've been passing it around.
Yeah, no, I mean, in the legal front, they likely have zero. It's just that they're trying to use it as a political cudgel. But even that, I mean, come on. I mean,
Even in the OJ trial, yeah, some people were taking home evidence with them.
Yeah,
Remember that one guy took the shoes home?
Yeah, the OJ trial. What a farce that was.
Oh my God! They did things to hurt themselves. So this is what's happening now.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, when you're corrupt, life always works against you. So OJ thought, he got away with it because, I mean, it was pretty obvious that the evidence was so, throw away the key type thing. And then he ended up committing crimes, and he ended up in the slammer for quite a number of years. It was almost like his subconscious was saying, no, you really do need to.
That's like Trump. That's like Trump.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Can you imagine taking home top secret information, thinking you own it?
Well, no, I wouldn't do that.
He just really thinks he's all that in a cup of tea.
Yeah, no, and the continued insistence that they're his, and I think with Trump, I think he believes he's so at this age. I think there is a part of his brain that it's completely wired now to believe in his own, Pinocchio routine. He
did say something about why would the DOJ want to hurt my son Barron? Why would they come after me and hurt my son? In other words, take me away. And then he's Barron's. He didn't care about that kid one way or the other.
He actually said that. Is that a recent?
He said that on his Truth Social.
Yeah, Truth Social.
That tells you someone's talked to him and said, dude, get ready.
Yeah, but it's been Truth Social is Pinocchio social. I mean, it just. The man's the irony is like everything he does is the reverse. If he tells you it's up, it's really down. So Truth Social. I mean, what truth?
And he always announces what he's doing. But blames it on other people.
Yeah, no, pretty much. It's never his fault. I know it's never his fault, but I mean,
because he didn't deny. At first, he said he had no files. Then he said, "Well, even if I do, they're my files." And
no, it's sort of the logic that he's always spent his whole life by talking and persuading. He got his way, but it's like you can persuade, but then, for example, don't then argue something like, well, I can persuade a rhino, to not kill me. No, that's the wrong territory. Rhinos don't listen, so it's the idea that he's taken on too much, and so then the system, like, people sometimes wonder with astrology, society itself has a Saturn, which is the social order. Society will try to stop you if you try to bring in chaos, because you can bring the whole thing down. Exactly. So taking on the whole system is never a great idea. It may take a short period or a long period, but it'll come after you, and justifiably so, because otherwise, everything falls apart.
Right. Exactly.
It's like that. And where do you see the economy and inflation and all this kind of thing.
We're going into a little recession, but not horrible. The United States compared to other countries. But, we're able to get product now. But I do see companies laying off initially and then hiring back. Employment is your deal right now.
I heard you say that something about to do with the real estate market and the government, maybe something about incentivizing buyers or something.
Incentivizing buyers. That was more 24.
More in 24. Okay.
Yeah, because you couldn't get nothing by Congress right now to help other people. Because I don't know about that Kevin McCarthy. I feel the walk of shame with him.
Oh no, he's Kevin McCarthy. He's on a Saturn return in a really vulnerable spot, and Saturn return is hard. Even when it's in an easy spot, almost no one enjoys it. It's one of the main complaints of my Saturn return. And, for the real, I've had two, and they were both pretty hard. I remember, right?
Right.
So, and you can see, with McCarthy, you don't even need the astrology to predict.
What sign is he?
He's Aquarius. And so, but he's got the Saturn return is in the next sign, and it's in a really vulnerable spot because you always look at where it is and what it's doing. And no, I would be amazed if this guy lasted through 2023 as speaker. Amazed if he pulled that off.
I know all his, we're going to impeach so-and-so and so. I just thought, yeah, you're talking out your rear. It's not going to happen.
No. And a lot of it is, I think, because he's got conflicting, not just conflicting, they're extremely conflicting in that you've got far right and then, well, moderate in this case means the total opposite of far right. So there are Republicans in there that can't afford to do it that way because they'll lose their seat. So they're gonna say no. So it wouldn't surprise me if actually his best play, and he's not going to make this play, but wouldn't his best play be to tell the MAGA people, to go take a hike and then make a partnership with Democrats and try to pass things? That would be the smart thing.
Let me tell you, just now when you said that, that's crossed his mind.
Well, the thing is, though, will he do it? Because it's the thing that would, because this is the thing that in the end, the man is not that smart.
He didn't show up at Nancy Pelosi's little goodbye ceremony.
No, and he's not a sharp thinker,
Nancy would have showed up for his.
Yeah, well, this is the decorum of like how Hillary showed up for the inauguration, but Trump was never gonna do that for Biden. It's like, these people are sore losers. The only way Republicans like an election is when they win it. If they don't win it, then someone cheated. That's their, that's
like children, like babies.
Yeah, like Kari Lake down at Mar-a-Lago, right? These people in plain daylight, they stole the election from me. Well, what do you mean? I thought that this country was based on evidence. When you go to court, you got to present some evidence.
Oh, God, they made Trump 62 lawsuits. He lost.
Yeah. But,
did they? I think they're going to take away. There's some sort of sanctions coming down on Giuliani.
Giuliani, did you see him in that deposition where he said he suddenly realized he was wearing two watches? The comedian Seth Meyers said, "How do you not know you're wearing a watch and then you put on another watch? Where do you have to be to pull that off?" And then, the likelihood is they're going to disbar him, I think, for starters. Yeah. Right. But then
even by what you're saying, they probably know he's not quite with it. They might even recommend some sort of psychological counseling.
Yeah, possibly. But then there's the fact that he's deep, he's right up to his neck in those fake electors and all that stuff. And I think whenever these people were actually doing paperwork, this is what this Jack Smith guy is going to probably say, well, that's easy. I can just present that. These are things that you signed and,
Yeah. He's going after those fake electors too.
Yeah, exactly.
He subpoenaed all of them.
It's kind of remarkable because this whole thing is like, you got to give credit to Trump. Trump has that, he's like that Jim Jones character from way back when, who ended up telling people to drink poison and they drank it. And it's like Trump made all these people crazy. They were doing things that anybody with common sense, like you would have said to Ginny Thomas, like, what are you talking about? Why are you talking nonsense? Or that other crazy guy that just came out in the text, that Norman character from South Carolina, saying, on January 17th, he was saying, the Republic is being stolen and we tell them to declare martial law.
Yeah, call the military. That's
Yeah.
what the other guy, the military guy, the one that they had to get rid of. What's his name?
You mean in the actual military or the military that they wanted?
He
Which
used to
one?
be a general.
Oh, you mean Flynn? No.
Yeah.
Flynn. No,
He
yeah,
said
but
call the military.
well, he was, but the military is General Milley. He wasn't going to agree to that. That's
No.
why Trump. That's, by the way, why Trump didn't try to institute martial law, because I think if he had called Milley and said, "I'm instituting,"
he did call Milley, and Milley told him no.
Well, Milley should have said, "Call martial law, and I'll come and arrest you first. You'll be the first one." I mean,
he might have said that.
Yeah, he might have said, yeah, exactly.
Because let me tell you something, Andre, knowing Trump like you know him now, if he thought he had that much leeway,
oh yeah, for sure,
he would have done it. If he thought Milley would say, "Well, yeah, boss, sounds good to me." Are you kidding? Hello.
Well, right, but this is the whole point, that this whole thing is going on. I mean, think about the foolishness. This whole thing is going on in 2020 and into early 21. And these people knew, well, Trump certainly knew, Milley had said in the summer, "I'm not doing this." So how do you do a coup without the military? How does that work? Like, say Trump, imagine that the insurrection had gone a little differently and Trump decides, well, we're going to declare martial law to restore order. That doesn't mean they're going to come and help you. They're going to restore order, but they're not going to give you the presidency.
Right. Exactly.
So the whole thing was like people drank some incredibly toxic Kool-Aid following this. But
I see someone talking to Trump. Is that Ivanka? I see someone telling him, "You realize that you could be taken down for this." Somebody's telling him.
Well, I think so.
Although he doesn't listen, I feel because I know someone told him, "Dude, be ready to go to get subpoenaed because you're ready to go down." And that's when he said, "How could they take a father away from Barron? Like you gave a crap one way or the other."
Yeah,
and then some other Republican has decided he's going to make sure no nudity on the internet. None. I said, Melania Trump will be disappointed about that.
Okay. There's a task. Try to get no nudity on the internet. Sure.
Somebody, Cruz posted fake pictures of Hunter Biden in the nude.
Yeah, but
by the way, hubba. But anyway, not that I was looking, stretched out. And he's talking about Hunter. He was in, and I told Cruz, but he probably didn't listen to my tweet. I said, hey, listen, Google Melania Trump. Now there's your feast.
No, it's. I mean, the hypocrisy. What's her name? Marjorie Taylor Greene. She said that. Well, there's. She was complaining about. Remember you could buy sexual paraphernalia at Walmart or whatever. Plus, she complains about porn. That porn problem is you go look at the metrics and it's worse in the red states, right?
Oh yes,
for starters. So this happens again and again. One of the things that Democrats don't do, and this is where, because you do it for unity, you say by making really inflammatory statements, you cause division. So then you don't make them. But remember that Trump was totally happy to, for instance, tax the blue states more and take away their, the things that they were getting, breaks, because he knew that the blue states didn't like him. But Democrats never say the truth, which is that the red states are always complaining about the government, and they're the ones that take all the money from the government.
They're the ones that get the most money.
They get the most money. So, I mean, you could almost say, why don't you just make your own states and, be on your own?
We're going to say, what was it? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Not Marjorie Taylor Greene. What's her face? The one that's running, Carrie Lake.
Carrie Lake.
Yeah. After they went in and took stuff from Mar-a-Lago, she said, "That's it. If once I become governor, we're succeeding from the United States." Yeah, and people in Arizona didn't want that to happen.
No. And I mean, and you saw the remarkable part to me is that you see them voting against it, and you see them voting in ways where they target you. They targeted her because what the best example You know, the guy that was declared in the committee, Rusty, the ex Arizona, whatever he was, governor or secretary of state or something. He said that, you know, he's a logical guy. He said, look, you can look in the ballot and you can see that the one person who didn't talk crazy got elected, a Republican. They voted for him, but they voted against all the other people that were making up stories about voting. So, you know, this is telling you that the voters don't like it, but yet they keep going. And even now, the commentary I recently heard was the fever hasn't broken. They're still, you know, focused on how do we get revenge.
But only if they lose.
Well, yeah, well, of course, but they keep losing and losing, you know, over and over. This is what this guy, Joe Scarborough, you know, Morning Joe, he's an ex-Republican, and he keeps repeating, why are Republicans determined to lose? They keep losing elections because they keep talking like this, you know, instead of dropping.
Actually, it works out for us, you know, keep talking.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I mean, the thing is, Trump would be such a perfect person to run against. It's almost too easy. So people that are afraid of Trump don't be, because he's a magnet for Democratic voters. There's no problem.
Do you remember, was it a congressman or a senator who was so anti-gay? Oh, they don't want you to use the word gay. They don't want, of course, you know, when I think of gay, I see the Satan in those patent leather boots, those knee highs.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, don't use the word gay or trans or anything. He was so, this is years ago. He was, I think he was it Obama terms? It might have been Obama. He was the forefront person against gay rights. And he got caught at the airport trying to pick up on a guy.
Oh, no, that was, I know who you mean. That was that guy. Wasn't his name Craig something?
I think so. He had glasses.
Yeah, he's the guy that was in the bathroom stall, and some kind of signal.
But he was a congressman or a senator.
He was.
One or the other.
Yeah, no, and he refused to go. They were trying to throw him out, but I guess he really wanted his pension, and he wouldn't leave.
Well, they got him out.
Eventually, yeah. Eventually,
and he was holding on to his wife, you know.
Oh yeah, and I mean it's pretty rampant. I mean the hypocrisy. This is like some of those, you know, Tammy Baker and those religious people. They're always doing the opposite of what they tell their followers. But it's a pretty good gig, you know. They can make a lot.
Yeah, like that guy that was he related to Bill Graham? Somebody was a big wig, and they found out that the pool boy was having an affair with his wife, and he was filming it.
Yeah, it's I think the thing though, in the end, because I heard you say this in your 23 predictions, which I agree with, that even though times are tough and we've been through, you know, the ringer for the last few years, I think the U.S. will do okay pretty soon.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay because, you know, that's where things are going, but it takes time. It just
and you happen. Looked at the chart and you said we had those Civil War planets, you know, so we're kind of going through the same thing.
Yeah, and then there's the other thing too, that there's, this one is more, it's U.S., but it's the whole planet. There's this cycle that was actually happening around when the U.S. was being formed in the 1780 period, and that period. Well, first of all, the U.S. rebelled against restriction. That's how the U.S. was formed. They were being squeezed by the U.K., at the time, so they rebelled. But it wasn't just the U.S. There were multiple places where there were major rebellions against the government. And so my sense is Iran is one of the places where things could get ugly and the citizens might, restore.
Oh, let me tell you, I talked to a lady from Iran. And she told me that, they're getting ready to assassinate or kill or crucify some soccer player or something.
Oh, yeah. No, I saw that.
She said, let me tell you, once his blood spills, they will all die. They don't care about dying. They might as well be dead, is what she told me.
Well, that's nuts. I actually saw that because I've been following the World Cup. I saw it in a European newspaper that this soccer player who was demonstrating for the women or something. I mean, it wasn't even that big a deal, but they condemned him to death and they're going to hang him in public. Like, that is just nuts, completely nuts, to think you can do this in 2022. But I mean, aside from that, it's the idea that this planetary cycle could really make problems for places like Iran, Russia, China, because in the end, I mean, people are complaining about problems here. This is like paradise. Imagine being in a place like China now, where they lost control of COVID. You know, they're isolated. Russia is going broke, and they're still squeezing people. Iran, well, Iran, you know, you can see it. So
Children have to go to war.
yeah, it's so much worse. So my feeling is that in one or more places we're going to see rebellions, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was a big thing. You know, where like a country like Iran might switch completely to a totally new.
I see that. It's a few years, but I see blood being shed.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Afghanistan too. I saw people coming up from underground
in Afghanistan.
In Afghanistan.
Wow, now that one I didn't tune into, and because that seems even more unlikely. But
I saw people like guerrilla warfare or something. It's weird. Saw that years ago
against the Taliban.
Yes.
Huh. Interesting. So I meant to ask you this because it's tomorrow. Were you joking when you said about France and Argentina, or was that a?
I have no skin in the game. When I have no skin in the game, I tend to pick the right one, and I saw Argentina.
Oh, well, I like that because I'm pulling for Argentina, and I have skin in the game, so I don't trust my. I
feel Argentina.
I keep going France is going to win because if I'm picky, it's impossible. It just I don't. That's great, Argentina.
I mean, so they're expecting France to win, right?
Well, no, it's the odds makers, the people that are betting, it's dead even. It's 50-50. You can pick one or pick the other. I'm
telling you, I think it's Argentina.
Well, they're very even, so it's very possible. And at that level, when you're playing in soccer, even with teams that are where one is a little better, soccer is very difficult to predict because all that has to happen is an early goal and the whole thing changes. And so it's this one is like, to me, it's flip a coin which way it'll go.
Yeah, because I don't watch soccer. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear it because I'm not.
I watched the dancing in the Olympics, so I like the dancing.
That which kind of dancing?
The freestyle dancing. Skates. Ice skates.
Ice skating. Yeah. Although that one is, you probably know that it's gone through a lot of turmoil over the judges, and there have been cases where the judges were, being paid, and because
I'm sure Russia paid a lot of them.
Because a lot in sports like that, there's a lot of subjectivity. It's not like you can say the ball went in the net. It's more like the judge will say, well, the person did the right number of flips in the right order, and then they give them a point score, so you could kind of manipulate it.
Right. I'm feeling Argentina. Does Argentina have like 3 colors in their flag?
I think they do. Argentina. I'm not sure about their flag. I know that in the team wears celestial blue and white.
Okay. Now, are they? What day are they playing?
Tomorrow. Tomorrow.
What time?
7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern.
I know where you're going to be tomorrow morning. I'm going to start texting the hell out of you, asking you questions.
Yeah, I know. I'll be all 10. No, I mean, I'm not so hung up on it that if they lost, it would be.
Yeah, and you know what? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't have any skin in the game, like I said. But you asked me a question. It's like I had dinner with 2 women who flew out from Texas to see me at Angel Heart. Sweet ladies. And they said their dad was a big Houston fan. He was dead. And so I start reading the father. I see him. And he told me to tell the girls that Houston's going to win, and they won. What was it? The baseball. And he won. And Houston wasn't the one they were going to pick.
Yeah, that's a good call, because it's the same idea. Like at that level, when in sports, even if there's a favorite, it's pretty tricky. You could, many times in baseball, it's happened that they'll say this team is going to win for sure, and they don't win. Like
that's the same thing with football. You can have somebody that was unbeaten suddenly go in the playoffs and they're beaten by some team that wasn't even supposed to be there. I like that. Look at the 49ers. Oh my God. Now I can't, I had a feeling the 49ers were going to go to the Super Bowl, but I thought it was with that hunk of burning love. What's his name? Jimmy Garofalo or whatever.
Ruffalo, yeah, but didn't he get hurt or something? What happened?
Yes. Oh my God. He
Yeah, no,
did
but
that Subway commercial with his mother, who's Italian, his grandmother. And he was so stupid. She said he's too good looking for his own good.
yeah, well,
But that other guy, the kid that's in there now, it's magical.
yeah, they're doing well. They're doing
Even
well.
the longtime player that's with Tampa Bay now, what's his name?
Tom Brady.
Yeah, afterward, they slaughtered him. I saw him going up talking to that kid because I think he sees the future.
What do you, by the way, what do you see with him? Do you see, because he's kind of on the edge of divorce, and what do you see with Tom Brady?
I feel he's going through a tough time. He's looking real old all of a sudden too.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot of stress. And I think, I don't know how many years he signed up for, but I'm almost feeling this is it. This is his last year.
well, he's playing past his expiration date. Not to mention that football at any age, but as you get older, it's really risky. I mean, all it takes is one hit, and you might not. It's like boxers who keep fighting. That's what happened to Muhammad Ali. He was a great fighter, but he fought too long, and then he had brain problems the rest of his life. Yeah. He couldn't even. The irony was that he was a trash talker, very good at talking, and then he was mute for 25 years of his life, almost like the karma of all those hits, right? So I think when you've got millions and you're so famous, why don't you go and become a coach or do something else? Because
become a coach or put towards young kids getting in the business.
Yeah, because it's so risky. So, so you see him potentially getting divorced or something, right?
They're in the process.
They're in the process. Yeah. Right.
I think when he decided to go back in football, she was done with him. I think she knows he's got some issues. So I don't know.
Oh, I have another question. What do you see for the royal couple that are now living in California? That the Netflix thing just came out.
Oh my God, you can't make a comment. People will hit you one side or the other. Ever since Lady Diana was killed.
Right.
I've washed my hands of the royal family. I felt bad when the Queen died because you could tell. I mean, the United Kingdom loved their Queen. And so, I gave my hats off for everybody with losing their Prince Philip and then the Queen. But I've never felt right about Charles and Camilla. I'm sorry. I just never, because he was such a wuss, he couldn't speak up and say, no, Camilla is the love of my life. I don't want to take this young girl and make her co-create and then never love her, still have my woman on the side. That was cold. But she was young, so she was hoping that, that he would be a family with her. He just never could do it. And then, she was planning on moving to California. But I watched that series. I had no opinion about Meghan. I'm not going to get into it. I don't think it's necessarily racial. I didn't see that much, but I do see that the people who killed Diana, what do you call them? The press over there. Mm-hmm. They're vicious.
Oh, brutal. Totally brutal.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And I think Harry's a Virgo. So, Virgo men, they don't like you attacking someone they love. And he loves her. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, no.
And I get people writing me, telling me she's a vicious liar, Meghan, and all that. Mm-hmm. I was like, really? I mean, I can't go there. I can't do that. It's not for us to decide.
It doesn't.
They offered their title back, and then you got the press over in London. They need to take back their title. Hello, they offered them their title.
Right. No,
but there's something with the royal family that's, of course, it's a dysfunctional family.
Yeah, because I couldn't believe in one of the episodes, the Harry talked to the grandmother, the Queen at the time, and they were going to meet to, I don't know what it was, lunch or dinner or something. And then they called him to say, no, that's not on. She's busy. And so he called the Queen and she said, yeah, I'm busy because they told me I'm busy. And so then I thought, well, why didn't you just speak up for your grandson? I mean, why are you so,
these people must be running them.
yeah, I mean, people would have liked you more if you said, I'm done with this, this thing of, pretending something's happening when it really isn't happening. And it's like everything is politics. And then it felt kind of low, in my opinion. So,
Yeah. And, it makes me wonder because the UK just like they loved their Sir Paul and they viciously went after Heather, his ex-wife. It was ugly, but she was a little bit of a pain. But at the end of the day, who are we to judge? It's very sad. Harry and Diana, they need to take away their titles. This is Princess Diana, who's dead because of you people.
Yeah.
That's her son. And that's the king's son. And who the F are you to tell who should do what? And of course, they're always going to blame the woman.
It's true. It's true. But the thing is, it shows you too, though, that they have a probably even bigger problem over there with really dirty press. I mean, those tabloids and the things they say, I mean, totally like racist stuff out in the open. That's never good for a country when people behave that way. It's just not good.
She sued Meghan Markle, as you saw on that show. She sued them. And by the way, the royal family didn't back her up. They didn't want her to sue the press. And she won.
Yeah. No. But anyways, it's probably better for them too, because being embroiled in that whole thing.
Well, Diana, before she died, her bodyguard said she had been talking quite a lot about moving to California.
Yeah, makes sense.
If you look at that show, maybe it's fake, I don't know, but they seem so much happier out of the realm of the UK. Their children can have lives. They're having a great time. So I envy their life more than I do the royal family.
Oh yeah, the royal family. I mean, that's like, it almost feels like a racket. Everything is done, it's like, but they put everything through a funnel or through some weird thing where you think, this isn't good. This can't be good. In a way, maybe they're destroying it without realizing. Over time, it'll lose its impetus. And
the press in the UK got a hold of the sister that she never saw, her half sister. She rarely saw her in her life. The sister started lying about her, and the press ate it up. They were paying her, and they were putting the fake stuff about her.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a sad thing that in human nature, it is known that, arousing hatred and negativity, it sells really well.
Unfortunately.
But it's very bad.
With Trump.
Yeah, but it's really bad for the psyche, though. I mean, well, with Trump, what are you supposed to say? We're seeing the guy doing, not only stupid things, but dangerous things. You got to call it out. But overall, it's not good. It's not good for the psyche. It's not good for anything, because then the whole country is in this thing of, oh, I'm just going to say something bad about you and attack you. It's not good. The country suffers.
And even when I sort of defended Meghan for a second on Twitter, I got hit. Not by that many people, but people say, well, I follow you. But, she's a real liar, and she's this and she's that. And I was like, really? Do you know her? Are you personally attached to her? And she's going by hearsay, by what other people are saying. So, we curse ourselves if we judge people by hearsay.
Of course. I mean, the thing is, how do you not, in this program that they made, what doesn't make sense about the part where they took away their security? I would be scared if I'm that prominent and then you take away my security. How do I know that someone isn't going to take a shot at me? It's almost likely, right? So why do you think that that's made up, or that? No, that made perfect sense to me. I just thought that's a cheesy move that the crown made.
And also the other countries that were part of the Commonwealth, the black countries, black and brown, they fell in love with Meghan. They were so happy that she was oh my God, people were dancing in the streets, and then they rip her like that. And now they're talking about coming out of the Commonwealth.
Exactly. I mean, this is the thing that you see the ironies again, right? Because it turns into a racial thing where all of a sudden the royalty looks like a kind of a white supremacy. And so then, those are our subjects, but hey, we don't want you to be too familiar with them and too happy with them because you're taking away our power. But in the end, it's worse because in the end,
But you know what? They did the same thing to Diana.
yeah,
She was talking about her trip to Australia, Diana, in that interview was, and how furious Charles was that everybody was saying, oh, she's on that side, she's over there. And he was furious that she was taken away. And that's what happened when Meghan and Harry went to Australia. All kinds of press, people very happy with him, and they didn't like it, especially William.
yeah, I know. It's so much better though to include in the longer term. By being inclusive, you get further. But I mean,
You just got to mind your business. You saw where she didn't even wear colors for fear of clashing against the Queen or the one that's married to William,
yeah,
Catherine.
yeah. I mean, I can't the whole story. I can't tell, but how much of it is produced. But if they're, let's say, if they're manipulating, didn't feel like that to me. They seem to me to be pretty normal people who basically got caught in a really stifling system with all kinds of hypocrisies and all kinds of negative stuff.
Well, he's a Virgo. He won't let anything go. I was dating a Virgo man. If they feel injustice is done, especially to someone they love, they will talk about it and make a point of it till the end of time.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I noticed that in her chart, I noticed that when the going got really hard there and she suffered the most, it was there in the chart, like precisely based on birth time too. This angle planet landed there, and
I just feel like they escaped and they're happy, title or no title. What does it matter? They took away their money and they took away their ability to secure themselves. They're paying for it themselves. His new book is coming out, so I imagine there'll be more stuff.
I'm sure they'll be totally fine. Maybe they'll make them.
My funniest remembrance of that boyfriend, and I had a good time with it. It was never going to work, but he was funny, and he was a drunk, and it scared me because I was supposed to marry this guy and take my sons out there, and their idea of a good time is drinking like 3 days straight.
Not good. Yeah.
Always pubbing, always, and I didn't want my boys to have that, So he said to me one day, I said, his name was Robin. Robin, if you were me, how would you wear your hair? He sat there and he looked at me. He said, woman, if I was you, I'd be too busy playing with my breasts to worry about my hair.
Well, then, was that before or after he started drinking for that day?
He hadn't started drinking. It was in the morning.
Wow. Wow.
These are the kind of guys, if they caught one and you could barely breathe, they were proud of it.
Wow.
Oh my God, I'm proud. I'm proud.
But then, you know how they say pride comes before a fall. You have to be careful,
Yes, that's true, huh? I've never heard that saying.
It's, I mean, I'm pretty sure that it goes like that. There are other sayings involving pride, but that's one of the ones, where
Oh, that saying, he who eats chocolate cake never has a problem.
Well, I do like chocolate. I don't eat too much of it, but I do. I can understand why you'd like it because it's.
Yeah, I'd never have chocolate cake. I'd love it, but if I bought cake or make cake, nobody here eats it, so it just gets thrown out.
Interesting.
So.
Well, we've solved once again in around an hour. We've solved all the world's problems. Everything is settled now. So.
Yeah, we've figured it all out, my friend.
We did.
So let's connect next week. I'll get you on my show.
Excellent. Thank you.
Everybody loves when we're together.
Thank you again for visiting my channel. And yes, I look forward to our next meeting for sure, because I think we're going to have something to talk about, because as the week starts, we're going to get some action here with the committee and everything else. And it wouldn't surprise me if some things happen this coming week as well.
Yeah, but I don't see Jack sitting there with a bated breath wondering what they're... I'm almost seeing he's already in action.
Oh, yeah.
They'll take the information, but they're not going to listen to them about you need to do this. They're going to do what they need to do.
For sure. Yeah, a lot of it is entertainment.
But they want to do some more jabs before they leave. That's why they're doing it in public.
Yeah, it's good.
And then, he did this and he did this.
Yeah, it's really good. And I bet as long as you're patient to read through it, I bet you that report's going to be really, really good.
Beautiful,
You know, as
beautiful.
like a novel of your life.
Somebody was saying, so hopefully this Jack won't be like Mueller. Mueller was fantastic. You got to remember that Mueller was in office or doing his thing when Trump was in office.
Of course, yeah.
And he was they were doing everything they wanted to fire him. Well,
Right.
Trump did, but
Right.
he was told, you fire him, it looks really bad.
Yeah,
So
no, and I
he
mean,
didn't.
historically, the record shows, you know, like if you say imagine taking a history course 10 years, 20 years from now, whenever, and you're looking at the Mueller report, he said clearly all the things that Trump did. It's not like he didn't say it, but then, you know, the system didn't process it because, yeah, what you said, the system was going to protect him at the time. But he said clearly that he was colluding with Russia. He broke the law 9 different times. All of that is there. So Mueller did his job, but Mueller couldn't sell it. It's too bad he wasn't Comey.
No, but Mueller went before everybody and he said, if it was up to me, I'd arrest him.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I can't do it.
You can't do it, yeah.
But I get mad when people say, oh, will he, well, I hope he's better. You got to look at what Mueller was dealing with. They were talking about trashing him all the time.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah,
So.
for sure. So.
Okay, my friend.
All right. That was great. So I look forward to visiting your channel.